Welcome to a Faithful God podcast. I'm your host, Tammy Rotzel, and today on the show, we're going to talk about a spiritual reset and what it does for us. So grab those earbuds and your favorite beverage and join me for today's show. Hi, friend. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the show. Oh my goodness. If you are someone who has been showing up each and every week, first of all, I want to thank you very much. Second, if you are watching this and or listening to this in real time, oh my goodness, then you know that I have been planning this spiritual reset for a couple of weeks now, and holy moly, the critters have come out. Oh my goodness. It has been crazy at our house, absolutely crazy. And those are the times we've talked about this on the show before, but those are the times that I know something big is happening, because that's when Satan is going to fight really, really hard to prevent something from happening. And those are the times that we have to press in. We have to keep going, even when it feels like everything is out to get us. Oh my goodness. We've had technical issues. As a matter of fact, the day I'm recording this, we're still having some technical issues and computer issues as well. So I've got an appointment later today with the Apple Store, and I'm praying they're going to be able to fix my computer for a relatively inexpensive cost. We shall see. But so that's been going on. And if you followed me on Instagram, then you know we've also brought a new dog into the house. And oh my goodness, she has completely rocked our world. I will tell you, we did not do a very good job of thinking that one through. And by we, I say my son and I, but yeah, so if you've been following me for a while, you know that at the beginning of the year, we had 4 animals in the house, and 2 of them, my son in January moved out and took his 2 animals, a dog and a cat. And then we still had our 2, and we lost one of them just a few weeks later, and the other one we lost in June. And though we missed them terribly, I have to be honest with you, my husband and I were getting to the point where we were thinking, this is kind of peaceful. There's no dog here laying around. Things are picked up. We can go wherever we want, when we want. This is a little peaceful. But my youngest has been telling us for quite some time that he wants a dog, and he was telling us this in college. And we put our foot down then and said, you know what? No, absolutely not. Not while you're in school. You've got to be able to have a job to pay for it and all of that. So anyway, fast forward, he's got a job, and he really wanted a dog and has been asking for one. And yeah, we could have said no. We truly could have. And we did hem-haw for quite some time about it, because again, Keith and I were just really feeling this peace, but we really kind of felt like we had no leg to stand on, since we let my oldest have a dog while he was living here. So we were kind of like, okay, all right. Well, we brought a dog home, and oh my goodness, she is so stinking cute. But let me tell you, life is chaos now. Oh my goodness, it is just chaos. My house is no longer tidy. I go and I'll put the dog toys away. Those of you who have dogs and puppies especially already know this kind of stuff, but you put the dog toys away and put them in their little bin and kind of tuck them away. And as soon as I do that, she walks over, pulls every toy out and brings the bin out. We've had to roll up all the rugs, because at a year old, she still is not potty trained. So that's meant going outside every 30 minutes to take her to the bathroom. And of course, the dirt that she brings in and all that. Yeah, life has just been rocked for sure. I'm one of these people that, and especially now that I'm doing so well with my migraines, if I'm having a good week, I'll work 40 plus hours a week. Last week, I worked 13 hours. That was all I could manage to get in, and some of that was getting up early before she got up so I could get some things done before that. So yeah, the critters have come out. The enemy has been trying really hard to stop this series from happening, but we press on. And so I don't know who needed to hear that today, but maybe someone did. If you feel like what you're doing, you're just getting resistance every step you take. If it is something that God is leading you to. You keep pressing in. Do not stop. So anyway, but I am really, really pumped about this. I have been working, obviously, again, last week, not as much as I wanted to, but I have really been pulling together a spiritual reset because let's face it, we are, gosh, with 2020 and still this year, 2021, it has just been a mess. It has been so hard. And we have, in addition to that, we all struggle with some sort of pain and challenge in our life. We have broken relationships. We have, we're sitting in bitterness and anger from past hurts. We're living with guilt and shame of things that we've done in the past. We, are struggling with financial strains and not making it from paycheck to paycheck. We're sitting in the pain of a chronic illness, both emotional and physical pain. We all have something. That's my point. We all have something. And for those of us who are able to get up and spend, some time every morning with God before the day gets started, and that's wonderful. And I am a big proponent of that. I feel like that is so important to really get your day started on the right foot. However, I think sometimes, and I will be honest with you, I'm one of those people. Sometimes it is just checking off the box because I know that that's what I need to do. I'm not proud of that, but it's the truth. Okay, I know that I need to do this. I know that I need to give God the sacrifice of my time first. And by the way, when you do that, he always, always shows up big. But even if we're doing that, even if we're, regularly sitting with God, we're probably not asking the questions we need to be asking and really taking that reflection. I mentioned in the last episode, and excuse me if you followed me for a while, that last December, I really took an unexpected reset. I didn't plan to do that. It was something I woke up one morning and I felt that check in my spirit that I just heard very plainly I was supposed to rest. And in that month, I had no idea that it meant a month long, but in that month, oh my goodness, life really changed for me in that month. And that's why I want to help you with this reset. I know that, again, if you're watching in real time, kids are going back to school. I know we're kind of like, just the stress of this last year and a half and just everything that's gone on. We could all use a spiritual reset. Wherever you are in your life, whatever you are struggling with, we could all use that. So I'm really pumped to bring this spiritual reset to you. I'm really pumped to guide you and help you through each week and just give you like I said, guidance, give you that guidance to lean into God and be very intentional about what you're doing. So before we get started, I do want to let you know, I put together a freebie for you. It's a 4 steps to a spiritual reset. And so I put that together for you. It's got in there, like a little timeline, what to reflect on each week. It's got a place for you to write prayers and your favorite scriptures. It's got a place for you to mark color coding. I love to color code my journal, my prayer journal. And so, I'll do one color for prayers, one color for scripture, one color for just study and notes. And so I put that in there as well. So be sure to hop on over to afaithfulgod.com and grab that freebie. Again, you can click at the on the banner at the top of the page. It's 4 steps to a spiritual reset.
At the garage cam.
Sorry, I'm just going to keep going with that. That was my Alexa letting me know that my son just pulled back up. I'm just going to pull this out here. Sorry. We're just going to keep going, friends. So anyway, so be sure to grab that. Also, make sure you're going to have the opportunity to get, once you sign up for that, you're going to have the opportunity to get the Spiritual Reset Journal. I put a whole journal together for you. So truly all you would need then are some pens, highlighters, a Bible or Bible app. You can pull it up right on your phone, and then you'll have that Spiritual Reset Journal. That's going to really walk you through. It's going to give you a new verse each day to reflect on in these 4 weeks. It's going to give you a place to write your prayers, also prayer requests, but it's also going to prompt you with some questions, reflective questions, to really understand what's going on in life and where God is leading you. So be sure to hop on over and do that. Again, that's at afaithfulgod.com, and just click the banner at the top of the page. So it's important to note that the purpose of a spiritual reset is not about the reset itself, but rather what it produces. It allows us to take a step back each day and be intentional about our time with God, the questions we ask Him, and the questions we ask ourselves. It's not about earning anything, but rather it's about opening ourselves up more fully so that we can receive His grace. But the thing about a spiritual reset is we can't sit on the sidelines of life. In fact, not just a spiritual reset. Anything in our life, we can't just sit on the sidelines of life and just hope and wish for something to happen, for a transformation to happen. We can't do that, friends. We have to participate. And we talked about that in last week's episode a little bit. We actually have to participate. We have to take that step forward and keep moving forward and towards the goal, towards the transformation that we're looking for. So before we go any further, let's talk about discipline just a little bit. And I'm not going to go too deep into it because we've talked about discipline in our forgiveness series. But discipline simply means training. That's it. So when we're talking about a spiritual reset, what we're doing is we're creating that discipline. We are disciplining ourselves, training ourselves to create these habits, these practices, to intentionally go to God, to intentionally seek the wisdom from the Holy Spirit. The discipline, the training, the intentionality of a spiritual reset allows us to sit in the presence of God so that He can transform us. Did you catch that? When we sit in the presence of God, then and open ourselves up to it, and we train ourselves to do that and train ourselves to ask the right questions, then we are opening ourselves up to receive God's grace, His glory, and all that He has for us. So I have a great quote by someone at the Art of Manliness, and this is what it says. It's kind of long, so kind of bear with me here for a moment, but it's so powerful. I really want to read it to you. So here it is. The disciplines allow us to place ourselves before God so that He can transform us. The inner righteousness we seek is not something that is poured on our heads. God has ordained the disciplines of the spiritual life as the means by which we place ourselves where He can bless us. Did you catch that? He's ordained the disciplines of the spiritual life as the means by which we place ourselves where He can bless us. So we're placing ourselves in front of God so that He can bless us. Now, again, we don't do this for the blessings. We've talked about this before on the show too, but the blessings become a byproduct. Receiving His grace becomes a byproduct of sitting in His presence and opening ourselves up to what He has for us. It continues on and it says, where is it? It says, in this regard, it would be proper to speak of the path of disciplined grace. It is grace because it's free, but it's discipline because there is something for us to do. Again, we have to participate, friends. We cannot just sit on the sidelines of life. We can't sit in the pain and the stress of financial hardship and just sit there waiting for something to change. We can't sit in a broken relationship and wait for the healing to happen. We can't sit in our shame, our guilt, all of those yucky feelings. We can't sit in it and expect to heal from it if we don't do anything. We can't sit in the pain of a chronic illness, both physical and emotional, and chronic illness warriors. I know this is going to be hard to hear, but we can't sit in it and expect a change in our life until we do the work. We have to Lean into God. And it doesn't have to be this big, like huge thing. I know it seems overwhelming when your circumstances are so overwhelming. I get that, friend. I understand that. I really do. But I also know what it means to take that first step and say, you know what? I'm going to choose to walk in healing. I'm going to choose to do that, and I'm going to participate. What do I need to do, God, to participate in this? What do you need from me? And you know what? Most of the time, friends, most of the time, well, in fact, let me rephrase. All the time, all it starts with is just you turning to God and making that ask. God, I'm hurting. I don't know what, and I don't know a way out. God, comfort me. I'm in pain, and it won't stop. I'm suffocating in the pain. I'm suffocating in the stress. I'm suffocating in the mess of life, the chaos around me, the worry, all of it. It's just making that ask. Though there are several ways to go through a spiritual reset, I want to make this as easy as possible for you, as manageable as possible, as possible for you. So I've been really working on that, on, again, making it just something easy that you can do. Because the fact of the matter is, wouldn't it be so cool if we could just jet off to a private island somewhere, bring our Bibles, our prayer journals, and sit on the beach and listen to the waves crash against the shore and just have a spiritual retreat that lasts for, several days, maybe a week? That would be wonderful. But the fact of the matter is, we have so much chaos in our life. We have so much going on. I want to show you that you can do this with whatever you have going on in your life. And so what we're going to do over these next several weeks is we are going to focus on prayer and solitude. And don't leave me just yet. I know you're thinking, Tammy, I can't get time by myself. It's okay. We'll talk about that next week. But prayer and solitude, Bible study, and obedience. Those are the areas, the disciplines that we are going to talk about in this series. In this reset series. Okay? So we're going to focus on those areas. So this week, there are a few things that I'm going to have you really focus on, really be intentional about. However, before we get to those, I want to talk about a few things that that a spiritual reset does for us, because I really want you to get your mind thinking. We're going to really, I don't know about you, but sometimes me just sitting there, like, to leave me, just sitting there in my own thoughts, I can't get there on my own. I need some examples. I need some help in that direction. And so that's what I want to do today. So let's talk about that for just a moment. Just a few of the things that a spiritual reset does for us. Number one, it helps us become more aware of the Spirit. It helps us lean into Him so that we can be more aware of where He's leading us, so that we can hear Him and hear where He is guiding us. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you're always going to hear something audible? No, not everybody does. But I guarantee you, and by the way, this takes practice. This isn't something that on the first day you typically hear everything that you need to hear from God. Typically, it's not on the first day. But again, we're forming those habits. We're practicing and training ourselves to hear from the Spirit, to be guided by the Spirit. The second thing a spiritual reset does is it takes the focus off ourselves and our circumstances, our pain, our heart, our challenge, the chaos, and it puts it back on God. You see, in order to change our perspective, we have to be intentional about that. That doesn't just happen, because the fact of the matter is when we're suffering in the chaos, when we're suffering in the pain, in the hard, in the financial stress, the broken relationships, in the shame, the guilt, all of the things, that's all we see. You see, what we look for is what we see. What we see determines our perspective, and our perspective becomes our reality. Now, I'm not going to dive into this too much, too deep right now, because we are actually going to go into a whole series on finding peace in our storms coming up pretty soon. But you want to be intentional. We have to participate. We have to do the work. Almost every book that I read about, finding peace in the mess and changing our perspective, everybody, like the most common analogy is just like when you're looking for a new car, right? When you're looking for a new car, prior to this, prior to that, you drive down the road, you don't really pay a whole lot of attention. But when you start looking for a new car, we just actually bought a new car in May. And when we started really looking at these vehicles and stuff, and we were looking at a Subaru, which we have and love, by the way. I think it's our most favorite car ever. But anyway, prior to that, we really weren't looking for Subarus. Well, now, I think I said that really weird, Subaru, I don't know. Anyway, now it's everywhere. Like, we see them all over the place because what we look for, we see, right? What we look for. Are we looking at our circumstances, at the hard, the pain, the mess, and this feels impossible? There's no way this could ever change. All of those things that we keep looking at. And friend, there's no judgment here. I've sat on that valley floor and I felt the same way. I've thought the same things. So I want you to understand there's no judgment. But I also have discovered what it's like to turn our heads toward God, to choose to look for what I want to see. What do I want to see? I want to see the blessings that are around me. I'm tired of living in the pain and the hard and the struggles of life. So I'm going to choose to look for what I want to see. I want to see those blessings, and guess what? They're all around us. And again, what we see determines our perspective. And our perspective becomes our reality. So a spiritual reset is going to help us change our perspective. The third thing a spiritual reset helps with is getting closer to God, discovering that there is a difference between knowing about God and actually knowing Him. James chapter 4, verse 8 says, get closer to God, come close to God is what it says, and He will come close to you. Did you see? That was really important. The first command, is that maybe right? I'm not sure if that's the right way to say that, but the first command, come close to God and He will come close to you. So when you purposely set an intention to go to God, to really focus on Him, then He's going to draw closer to you. That's how you learn how to be closer to God, is by coming closer to Him. Number 4, it helps us learn God's desires for our life. We talked about this back in our Identity in Christ series. We learned who we are, whose we are, and why we were created. We were created to fulfill our ultimate calling, to make God known and bring Him glory. And when we take a spiritual reset, when we really intentionally set our minds on God and go to Him and make those asks, then, did that sound right? Make those asks. Make that ask. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm struggling here today. Make that ask. Then we're going to learn the desires that God has for our life. And not spoiler alert, bonus, that dream you have stuffed down in your, way down deep inside because life's gotten too crazy and messy and you just don't have time to go after it. That dream down in there, that's the desire that God created in your heart. He created that in you. So it's going to be something you enjoy, friend. Is it going to be hard? And are you going to step outside of your comfort zone? You bet it is. And you bet you are. But it's so rewarding and it's so cool and it is so much fun. I'm here to tell you, it is so much fun. Number 5, a spiritual reset helps us develop a trust for God. When we keep going to Him, when we intentionally make that ask, when we intentionally get into the Word where we find God's truths and promises, and the more we do it, we develop those practices, those habits. And what happens when we do that? We start trusting God more and more and more. And let me tell you, we serve a God who multiplies, my friend. And you think, again, faith of a mustard seed. A mustard seed is so incredibly tiny, but that's all the faith you need to lean into God, to follow God, to live for God, because our God multiplies. And let me tell you, oh my goodness, just it becomes like this little snowball, and it just starts rolling downhill. And it's just, and I think I talked about it last week, drinking from a fire hose. It's like when the hose is kinked and you're kind of just, the water's dribbling out of there, and then you open it up and the water comes flowing out. That trust, it's the same thing with trusting God. The more you do it, the easier it is. The easier it is to say, you know what? I trust God with this. Man, this is hard. I don't see a way out of this. Not from my perspective, not from where I can see right now because of our earthly perspective. But I'm going to trust God. Number 6, a spiritual reset helps us stay in control of our emotions. Can I get an amen right here? Holy moly. Yes, yes, yes. When we are sitting down with God, when we are suiting up with His armor every day, I'm sure you've heard that. By the way, I don't know where in the Bible that is. If you've never read that before, or even if you have, go back and read that, because suiting up with His armor every single day, that helps us be in control of our emotions, because life is going to throw us a bunch of mess and yuck and just hard things all day, every day. It's going to happen, my friends. Satan is going to do his job, especially when he sees you working, when he sees you participating with God, when he sees you joining forces with God. He's going to fight hard, and he's wily. And he is good at what he does. But when we suit up with God's armor, when we know, because we're learning to trust Him, right? When we do those things, we can be more in control of our emotions. And I am one for that. All right, let me just be totally transparent with you. I'm not proud of this, but it's the truth. I'm a yeller. I've always been a yeller my life, most of my life. Yeah. I have. I'm not proud of it. I wish I wasn't, but when I get mad, I yell. I don't do that near as much anymore. In fact, one of my kids brought that up not long ago. It's like, Mom, when things happen, you don't yell, or, I don't pop off this quickly. I'm not saying I don't ever, because I still do. We're all practicing, right? We're all practicing those habits, trying to purpose to be better today than we were yesterday. But yeah, that's what happens when you take a spiritual reset and you are intentional about how you go to God. I keep wanting to still say intentionable. I have no idea why. I might have to just make that a word. I don't know. Anyway, so number 7, it helps us make better choices. When we go to God and earnestly ask those questions, God, I've got this going on in my life. And be specific, friends. You don't have to be general with God. Name them. Be specific. I can't tell you how many times I've written in my prayer journal, God, what do you want me to do about ABC or XYZ? God, what do I do about this? I don't know. He may not give you the answers right then and there, but he's going to reveal that. Sometimes it's through other people, other Christian friends that you're with. Sometimes it's just through prayer. Sometimes you'll feel that check in your spirit. But when we are connected, to the Holy Spirit, because getting in His presence, that connects us more and more and more with the Spirit. And when we do that, we're going to be able to recognize when we're going down a path we're not supposed to go. He will. He's going to convict us. We've talked about that in the forgiveness series, the difference between guilt and conviction. That's going to help you by having us, taking a spiritual reset, by purposing, being intentional about going to God. That's going to teach you to listen for God's guidance, his discernment. And the Spirit's going to convict you when you're going down the wrong path. Number 8, a spiritual reset is going to help you let go of the things that are no longer serving you. Whew, man, taking a spiritual inventory of your life is so important. And it's so important to do it on a regular basis. And this is the time that during a spiritual reset, that is so important. And that's what I wound up doing back in December. Again, I had no idea that some of the things I was going to let go of, some of the things that God was going to bring into my life, not everything is good forever. Sometimes they're only good for a season. And something one of my dear friends, Timberly, says all the time is, we learn to say no to the good for the sake of the better. So most likely you're doing things that are good. But if they're no longer serving you, and most importantly, serving God's desires for you, then it's time to let them go. And through a spiritual reset, you can do that. You can ask those questions and get clarification on what it is you should let go. In fact, in the spiritual reset journal, I actually put some daily practices in there for you to start really thinking about things that you should let go of. And other areas where it's going to help you look at areas where you can lean more into, and areas where, I think it might be time to let go. So that's going to help you in that spiritual reset journal. Number 9, it teaches us to go to God before stepping out. Here's a perfect example of this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, don't get me wrong, I did pray about this dog, but I'm not sure I really listened. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe this was God's will. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is going to teach you to go to God before stepping out, to get in the practice. Again, we're creating practices and habits to grow in our relationship with God, to grow closer to God, to learn his desires for us. You can hear her up there barking. Can you hear that? I'm going to keep going with this. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so what a spiritual reset does is, again, it sets that intention, helps us pursue and purpose to seek God's will before stepping out. Now, at first, friends, there are going to be times you're going to forget this, and that's okay. It happens. But we're going to create this habit. We're going to keep asking and seeking his will. And the more we do it, the easier it's going to be. And before it's second nature, before we know it, it'll be second nature, to where we immediately go to God before stepping out and asking him those questions. See, God wants to do life with us. I know we've talked about this on the show before, but truly, God is right there with you. He is willing and ready to do life with you, to get you through these difficult times in your life, to heal you, to comfort you. He is ready to prepare you and equip you for what he has planned for you. And by stepping out and by asking him before stepping out, oh my goodness, life is so much easier when we do that. It really is. I have taken the long way around over and over and over, and I've lost count how many times I've taken the long way around in life. Lost count. Maybe you feel the same way. And it was far harder when I tried to do it my way. praise God, he will step in and intervene and get us back on track. Praise God for that. But I'm telling you, when we do it God's way to begin with, I'm not saying it'll be super easy and the road won't be rocky. I'm not saying that, but it is far easier than doing it my own way or your own way. Far easier. And so we want to go to God and seek that wisdom, that guidance, that discernment, that revelation. And having a spiritual reset, taking a spiritual reset helps us learn to to go to God before stepping out. So friend, this week, I want you to be intentional. I want you to really start thinking each and every day, all throughout the day, what it is that's calling you to a spiritual reset. What is it that you are just really struggling with in life? Grab a notebook, like I said, a notebook or a journal, whatever. Start writing some of this down. Writing is so powerful, and we're going to get into that 2 weeks in 2 episodes from now. But writing things out is just so powerful. Write it down. What is it that's really calling you? What's going on in your life that you are struggling with so much? Take it to God this week. I want you to keep practicing that. Take it to God this week. What is it that you are struggling with and you need help with? Focus on that this week and be sure to hop on over. Like I said, hop on over, grab the 4 steps to a spiritual reset. That's the freebie over there. And then again, you're going to have an opportunity to grab the spiritual reset journal for only $7. So grab that too, because in it, what we also do is each day I give you a Bible verse to study, to meditate on, and you'll write it out in just a couple translations at all. And then there are some reflective questions in there too to really get you thinking. It also has in there a let me see if I can say the pre-spiritual reset assessment. Did that make sense? So a pre-assessment of, before you get started on the spiritual reset. And then it also has a post-assessment as well. But we go week by week. There's a section in there for you to take notes while you're watching the video, take notes if you're reading the blog post. And I highly recommend both if you can, if you've got the time for it, to read the blog post and do this, because you know me, sometimes things come up and I just I talk about other things and so on and so forth. And everything in the blog post I certainly can't include in the video because I want to try to keep it somewhat easy and manageable for you. So friend, wherever you are in your journey right now, whatever you are dealing with, a spiritual reset is, honestly, I'm going to just be bold, and it's the answer. Getting closer to God, of course, is the answer. But we have to be intentional. We have to participate in this. Again, we have to be disciplined, right? The disciplined grace is what he said, that quote that I said earlier. Grace because it's free, because we receive it for free, but discipline because we have something to do. We have to keep pursuing. We have to be intentional. We have to make that ask and participate. If we want to be transformed in life, if we want out of this pain, we got to do the work, friend. We have to do the work. And again, this week, all it may be, the work that you may do may just be turning to God and saying, God, I need help. I need you. I need help. I'm willing to change. Now, granted, my feelings may not feel that right now. I may still be angry at someone for past hurts. I may still feel guilt and shame over what I've done. I may still, and most likely, a financial difficulty. Holy moly, have I lived that. That doesn't just go away because you decide it's going to go away. But we're going to keep choosing to pursue God. Remember, we've talked about this before, until our feelings catch up with our faith, right? We're going to keep choosing it. Lord, I'm still angry right now, but I want to heal. Lord, I'm still broken right now, but I want to heal. Lord, this chronic illness has caused so much emotional pain, and I'm in so much pain. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm in pain. I can barely put one foot in front of the other, but I can turn my head towards you and I can say, I want to heal. Lord, I'm ready. I want to heal. So this week, that may be all the healing that you're going to get this week. Not that you're going to get. I didn't mean it like that. That didn't sound right. But that may be the only step you're going to take this week. And again, I want to make this manageable. I want this to be easy for you and for you to see that no matter what you have going on in your life, a spiritual reset is possible. So we're doing this easy, my friends. And maybe one day, wouldn't this be so cool if we did a spiritual reset together? I've got dreams of something in here, in here. Maybe one day we'll do a fun spiritual reset in person together. But for now, I want you to see and understand that this is possible in whatever you have going on in life. It just requires that you participate. So friend, do you need some accountability? I would love to help you. I want to stand beside you in prayer. Leave me a comment below if you're watching on YouTube. Send me a DM on Instagram. Send me an email at tammy@footprintsofinspiration.com and tell me how I can stand beside you in prayer. Tell me what it is, why you are needing, after you do some reflection and stuff, tell me what it is that you are needing prayer for. The reason you are needing a spiritual reset. I want to stand beside you in prayer. I'm going to come stand right here beside you. I'm going to stand in the gap for you and help you through this. The other thing that we can do, have you ever heard of Habit Share? It's an app on your phone, super easy, free app. All you do is you sign up. It's really easy. And you know what? I will maybe link to something, I don't know, or I'll have a link in the show notes or something. I'll put Habit Share in the show notes so that way you know it. Super easy. You can join and send, or you can invite me, share your habits with me. So I believe I'm under footprintsofinspiration@yahoo.com. So I apologize. It's a little different email. I didn't think that through last year when I signed up for it. But footprintsofinspiration@yahoo.com. That's me, Tammy. Get on Habit Share. Share it with me. And I will cheer you on each day, friend. I want to help hold you accountable. You can also send me a message in there. Send me your prayer request there. Tell me, Tammy, I am struggling. Today, Tammy, I am struggling with this. Send me it. I will stand in prayer with you, my friend. And I want to help you through this. I want you to see how easy and I guess I should say manageable a spiritual reset is. Because it is. It's manageable. It can be done right where you are right this minute. So friend, I am really excited to take this journey with you. I am so pumped and ready to make this happen. So I will meet you back here next week. We'll talk about prayer and solitude. And then, have a great week, friend. Have a very, very good week. Let me know again in the comments how I can pray for you. I want to help you through this. So friend, grab those earbuds and your favorite beverage and meet me back here next week after you have reflected all week on this.